Don't just watch the ball drop. Watch the odds drop. College football playoff coverage. Live lines. Smart analysis. All New Year's Day. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, they couldn't get the Arizona State coach to come out. They couldn't get the BYU coach to leave their job. I mean, it's just very odd, I feel, when we watch this whole thing play out and try and really understand what happened here with Michigan not being able to make some of the splashier hires that they thought they were going to be able to make.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
They have by far the highest ceiling out of any team in the league. Elite talent, NBA shot making, versatility, and the best coach in the league in John Shire. They can beat you in multiple ways. Half court, full court, run and gun, walk it up. And they out-execute you, maybe except for that game versus Texas Tech.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
I know exactly what Patriot Nation is screaming this morning. It's Drake May time. Give him the trophy. MVP. Stop it, please. Just sit down. Yes, Drake May has had a nice season. But let's be real. He has played a JV schedule of defenses. He is carving up the easiest slate of defenses in the NFL this season. Congratulations on your beatdown of the Jets.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
In-game live game day here on SportsGrid. We're keeping an eye on all things college football, these bowl games that are in progress. You got a college football quarterfinal game coming up in the playoff a little bit later on, Miami and Ohio State. Throughout the day, some NHL, National Hockey League action on this New Year's Eve, all the way into the night. Some teams will be bringing in New Year's while they're on the ice, and of course, a lot of NFL to get to Saturday and mostly on Sunday. Here to help us with all of the above, George Kurtz, host and analyst here on the grid. Always lovely to see our pal Kurtzy. How are you, man?
Doing well. Happy New Year, early New Year to everybody out there. Be safe tonight.
You?
Me personally, I'll be staying in watching a lot of hockey.
Well, good. It should be fun. Why don't we start with hockey? Now, as far as what we've got going right now, there are some games in progress. Midway through the third, the Predators are doubling up the Golden Knights 4-2. Got to get those fans out of the Vegas stands so they can go live it up on the strip. Lightning 1-1 with the Ducks, about 2.5 to go second period. The Wild down 2-1 in San Jose against the inferior but currently leading Sharks with about 2 minutes to go in the middle frame of that one as well. More games beginning in the next hour or so. As far as these three, were you invested anywhere?
Yeah, I'm invested in all of them, and it's not going well, to tell you the truth here. On Vegas, that's not looking good. They're being doubled up here. I'm on the over as well, so just give me another goal there, and we got that. Tampa, Anaheim on Tampa once again, so we're tied there. We'll sweat that one out here. And San Jose, Minnesota, yeah, we're on the wrong side of both here. When it comes to San Jose, you play the overs, right? The Sharks are like, the run and shoot Houston Oilers of the 90s there. They score a lot of points here. Not tonight. Right, we know Minnesota Wild could score as well. I'm on the Wild and the over here. And, of course, we have a 2-1 game with 2 minutes left of the third period.
George, we've got a game coming up in about an hour in Detroit. The Detroit Red Wings, one of the best teams in hockey this year so far. Yet they're a home dog to the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets about a -125 favorite on the road. What am I missing there, my friend?
Winnipeg has not been that team all season. They've had struggles all year long. Hellebuck has just come back from injury a couple of weeks ago. Really hasn't turned things around all that much here. Detroit, now I wouldn't say they're one of the best teams in the NHL. I don't even know if they're top 8, top 9. But, hey, they're playing better than they have in quite a few years here, doing well in their division. So good for the Red Wings here. They're heading in the right direction as far as that's concerned. I'm on the Wings. It's a small play, Brady. I don't feel great about it. But you already said the Red Wings have played better than the Jets. All right, the Jets have struggled all season long, so I'm on the Wings here. We'll see what they can do here, but I don't feel great about this. I don't know why, but this has smelled to me all day. Although the person I am, I don't care. I'm still taking the Red Wings, but it smelled to me all day. I think it's going to be a Jets upset.
Why don't we go late night here? Game starting in about 4 hours, and that is my Bruins at the Oilers. So Boston has dropped 6 in a row here, George, and getting pummeled along the way. Outscored during the skid 26-11. The Oilers, however, lead the Pacific. High-scoring team, unbelievable power play, loads of talent, obviously, and also playing very well not only at home, but overall. Wins in 9 out of the last 13. Thing is, there's no value when you look to Edmonton minus 185 on the money line. So puck line situation, maybe a regulation win situation, do the 60-minute money line. How would you play this game?
I keep adding more to this game. All right, originally, I'm going to take the Oilers and the Colorado Avalanche in a parlay. All right, and now that number's come down, by the way. When I did this earlier, it was minus 110. We got minus 103 right now, so you actually made 7 cents there if you waited. Good for you. Now, all right, Connor Ingram's going to start for the Edmonton. Give me the over. All right, and I don't even need Connor Ingram. I take the overs at Edmonton anyway. And I have some props in this game as well, whether it's McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins. You can go bananas with props here. I think goals are coming is what I'm trying to tell you here. So I'm on Edmonton. I'm going to take them on the goal line as well. So give me minus a goal and a half to win by 2. Got them in a parlay with Colorado, and I have several props here. If this is a 2-1 game, you're going to hear me screaming at midnight. That's about when it's going to end here on the East Coast here, about midnight.
George, what about the Dallas Stars? I think we can probably say that they're one of the best teams in the NHL. They're right up there in the Western Conference for sure. 57 points so far on the season. But I tell you, I have been so surprised, pleasantly surprised by this Buffalo Sabres team. I mean, when was the last time they're winning hockey games? They've got 44 points. They seem relevant. And, could they possibly it seems telling that the Stars are only minus 150 in this hockey game. I think that tells you the odds makers are starting to gain some respect for Buffalo.
Well, listen, I'm a streak player, right? Adam knows I play streaks. I'm a little nervous about this one, all right? To generally be all over Buffalo, fine. I can only lose one. Streak's over. I move on. Dallas Stars, Brady, you said it. I would say Colorado is the best team in the NHL. I have Dallas number 2. All right, this is a really good overall team. They've got offense. They've got defense. They've got the goaltending here. I know the Sabres have won, 8, 9 in a row here. I understand. They fired a GM. They've taken off there. They've got themselves back in the playoff picture. Great for Buffalo. I think it ends tonight. All right, I think it ends tonight. I do. Dallas is just that good a team. If it was in Buffalo, I think I would leave this one alone or maybe even take a shot at the Sabres. In Dallas here, I'm going to go with – they're just too good a team. I'm going to say the streak has to end at some point, right? I'm going to say it ends tonight. This is not a big play. This is not one of my favorite plays here. I'm just going to bet that the streak ends tonight. I think there'll be goals as well here, and you're getting plus money here for the over. And it's a small, short price, plus 108 here, but you're getting plus money here, so you might want to go that direction as well. This game just feels like 5-3, 6-4 to me in favor of the Stars.
You mentioned the Avs, by the way, who, again, 16-0-2 at home. This team only has 2 regulation losses. Been incredible. But in terms of the prop market, Nate McKinnon, you can't stop the dude. He's up to, 32 goals at this point in time? Are you just blindly betting him to score goals at this point in time?
I generally play total points more than goals, 1.5. I did get. Listen, it's lucky when you're playing a non-star and you take there's anytime goal and you hit it. It's kind of lucky, and I got that with Brock Nelson their last game. Went with him there. Thinking about riding with him again, but maybe you want to go a player. Netchus is there. He's had a great season for them. You can always go Cale Makar. He scored last game as well, right? This is how good they are. It plays up and down the line. You want to go Lakeinen. I'm going to take a shot though tonight with a guy I haven't talked about. Nichushkin tonight. All right, we'll say he gets on the board tonight for an anytime goal. I don't have any stats for you. I just a gut feeling here that I'm going to play. But yes, you already named it. I'm going to play McKinnon to get over 1.5. I'm going to play Makar to get a power play point here. And I'll likely add something for non-Netchers. I just haven't figured out whether I want to go to 1.5 again, which is a little rich for him. 2 points is a lot for Netchers. Or do I want to go power play point for him as well?
George, obviously it's very early in the NHL season. I wonder if you have any futures in pocket or any thoughts, if you don't yet, who you might want to land on. I agree with you. Colorado looks unstoppable at this point, but is that going to be the case come this spring? And obviously that's the shortest price on the board to lift the cup, win the conference, whatever. I'm not sure if I want to dive in just yet. Who do you have in pocket, if any, or who are you looking at maybe to invest in at this point in the year?
Well, this is going to be a strange year, right? We have the Olympics in a little over a month, so there'll be a 2-week break. let's face it, guys, someone's going to get hurt in the Olympics, and these are all star players. That's going to change things a little bit. It happens every year. I mean, John Tavares got hurt for the Islanders last time a few years back. So I wait for that. We have the March 6th trade deadline. Who's going to add here? I mean, I say Colorado's your odds-on favorite. The Eastern Conference, by the way, is a lot like the NFL. Who's your favorite?
Yeah.
You can pick a different one every damn week. I like this team. I like that team. We heard news today. Alexander Barkov for Florida is skating here. We weren't sure he'd be back even for the playoffs now. Now it's looking like he will. You know, if he can get back even a little early, get a little game time in there, I still think Florida's the team to beat. All right, they're going to get Matthew Tkachuk back. I have a funny feeling that's going to be for the outdoor game on Friday or very shortly thereafter, so he'll be back in the fold there. They will add the deadline, no doubt there. So until they're beaten, I still think the Florida Panthers are the team to beat in the Eastern Conference there. Until you dethrone them, they have to be that team. In the West, though, it's Colorado. It has to go through Colorado. But I'm telling you, Dallas, I think they could dethrone Dallas. I think they're a better overall team than Colorado. Colorado has more top-end players here. Minnesota, after adding Quinn Hughes, you have to go all in, boys. You need more. You're not quite there with the Colorado and Dallas yet. You need to keep going all in and add more.
Quick peek at the college football scoreboard right now. Arizona State continues to lead 39-35 against Duke in the Sun Bowl. About 8 minutes to go in regulation. Michigan is down 24-20, but in the red zone. 1st and 10 at the Texas 18. The Citrus Bowl, Utah keeps going 31-14.
The champagne pops. The clock strikes 12. But New Year's isn't won at midnight. It's won on the gridiron. Every snap, every number, every edge that matters. Don't just watch the ball drop. Watch the odds drop. College football playoff coverage. Live lines. Smart analysis. All New Year's Day. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, they couldn't get the Arizona State coach to come out. They couldn't get the BYU coach to leave their job. I mean, it's just very odd, I feel, when we watch this whole thing play out and try and really understand what happened here with Michigan not being able to make some of the splashier hires that they thought they were going to be able to make.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
They have by far the highest ceiling out of any team in the league. Elite talent, NBA shot making, versatility, and the best coach in the league in John Shire. They can beat you in multiple ways. Half court, full court, running gun, walk it up. And they out-execute you, maybe except for that game versus Texas Tech.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
I know exactly what Patriot Nation is screaming this morning. It's Drake May time. Give him the trophy. MVP. Stop it, please. Just sit down. Yes, Drake May has had a nice season. But let's be real. He has played a JV schedule of defenses. He is carving up the easiest slate of defenses in the NFL this season. Congratulations on your beatdown of the Jets.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
George Kurtz, host and analyst here on SportsGrid, joins Brady Kannon and I. Let's talk through some NFL with the NHL and some college football in the rear view. Don't worry, we'll get to more of that in the final hour of the program and beyond. But, George, listen, I'm going to make this about my Patriots to start simply because Caitlin Clark did. She was a guest with the Kelsey brothers on the New Heights podcast. And this week she was asked, who she's pulling for in the playoffs. And she said the Patriots. She's a Pats fan because she thinks Drake May, the future MVP, by the way, is incredible. But to take the shine off of my wonderful team that's about to be 14-3, they're also shrouded by some distraction, for lack of a better word. Both Stephon Diggs and Christian Barmore, one offense, one defense, finding themselves in the midst of legal situations, allegations of reported dispute. I don't want to bore everybody and go into all the details of what could have happened here in terms of abuse and that type of thing. Just know that these guys obviously are under investigation, the team working with the league, all of that. And who's to say if they don't potentially wind up on the commissioner's exempt list? So look, heavily favored against the Dolphins, should lock up the number 2 seed in the AFC because the Chargers in all likelihood are not going to fall to the Broncos. But we keep talking about how wide open the AFC is across the board. If the Patriots were to suddenly lose Stephon Diggs and or Christian Barmore, where do the chances go for New England?
Well, it certainly wouldn't be good. That being said, I don't think either of them would be devastating. I don't. Now, we know that, what do football teams hate? Distractions. And all right, you can't tell me this is not a distraction, right? I mean, this is ridiculous. It was Diggs, and I wake up today and I'm like, what the hell? What's going on? What are you, the 90s Cowboys? It's just a strange situation there. So you can't tell me this is a good thing. You certainly can't spin it that way. Are they going to get suspended? I have my doubts. I think they will be allowed to play. I'm not saying it's morally right or not. I'm not making that kind of judgment. I'm just making the same. I think they will play here. I think the Patriots will be okay. My thing is, like I said, I think most of these teams here, Patriots, Denver, Buffalo, maybe not the AFC North winner here, Chargers, they're all at the Jaguars, Houston. I think anyone can beat anyone, and anyone can lose to anyone. I think the playoffs are going to be fun. Maybe not for us bettors, because it'll be hard to find, is it the true favorite? I think there'll be a lot of underdogs we're going to take here. I mean, I keep saying this. Are the Jaguars the team? Are they the team right now? They're playing the hottest. They're playing well. Are they the team you want to watch out for? I don't. It's very difficult to judge here. But to answer your question, I think the Patriots will be fine. They're likely to play the Buffalo Bills, it looks like, in the first round, which will be fun as a whole. Right? We want that. We like seeing teams in division play each other in the playoffs.
I think it's going to be the Chargers, actually. I think that's going to be the matchup.
I'll be big time in the Patriots. I think the Chargers are overrated. There's no offensive line there. They have lots of issues. I think the Patriots will beat the Chargers. I think the Chargers are one and done. That's really what I'm going. It's not so much on the Patriots. I think the Chargers are one and done. Whoever they play, I don't think they're going any further. I think whoever wins the AFC North, I think they're one and done. All right, so they'll be going anywhere either here. So those are the two things I would say I feel best about not going anywhere. So I feel better about teams that are going to lose than I do about teams that are going to win, unless they're playing those two teams.
Yeah, George, I tend to agree with you. I said it with Kevin Walsh on Game Time's Decisions yesterday that I think the Steelers and the Ravens and the Panthers and the Buccaneers, whoever gets in, those are the worst teams in the tournament. Everybody else, it's a crapshoot. The Rams, the Seahawks, the Niners, the Patriots, the Jaguars, the Broncos. I think the Chargers are, I hear you loud and clear on the offensive line. Everybody, I think, can win any game at any time. Every team has flaws. There's no perfect squad out there. The Rams looked awful perfect for a while. Now they've lost 2 in a row. All that being said, from the rest of the games on Sunday that quote unquote don't mean anything, are there any that you really like from a betting standpoint?
It's not going to so much going to be games this weekend. I'm that guy who's going to look for the incentives. Who needs what? All right. And you can look this up list anywhere, folks, if you really want to know. It's all over the place. And listen, the books know this too. All right. The lines are juiced because they know that this guy's going to need 3 catches to get $500,000. He's going to get that. That's
a great point you make up. You
parlay it.
It might just be a blind under, because the books know too, especially nowadays, right?
It seems to me, I know this could be recency bias here, but these players look for it. Now the quarterback, look, what do you need? You need 3? Okay, I'm going to throw the ball to you. We're going to get you your money, buddy. That sort of thing. So I'm going to have a hard time going under unless it's one. Oh, he's not getting this. No way in hell. Now that's not true of the standalone games. Those games are going to be real, right? The Saturday games and the Sunday night game, they can't really look for the incentives. You got to win the game. That sort of thing. With the others, that's what I'm going to look at first here. Do I think it's going to be points scored in Giants Dallas? Yeah. I don't think either team has a defense here. I think they'll score points here. That's the other thing you want to check. Who's playing? Who's not playing? We're in Philadelphia, probably not playing anybody. Even Dallas, by the way, I think Dak's going to start, but the second half could be Milton. So keep that in mind here as far as certain props, certain overs here. You got to be very careful about it. You got to read a lot of the tea leaves here as far as who's going, who's not going.
So I'm surprised Brady didn't ask you about this game. I'll do it. Saturday night, Seahawks at the Niners. Obviously a very important game. The winner will clinch the NFC's top seed in a first-round playoff bye. I think there are a lot of people that are shocked that the Niners are in this position simply because of all the injuries they have had to endure throughout the year, but sitting at 12-4, each of these teams riding 6-game winning streaks in the game, damn near a pick'em. Seattle, actually the road favorite of 1 to 1.5 from 4.5-point dogs at open. Where do you go here? I mean, is this one of those, like last year, classic Sam Darnold should be wearing a diaper because he's going to poop his pants? Or are the Seahawks going to show that they are capable of winning the big game?
You just named the question. Seattle's the better team. They're the better team, but I don't trust Sam Darnold as far as I can bowl the guy. All right, he does come up small in big situations, and it looks to me the last couple of weeks, guys, they're starting to protect him a little bit. They don't want him throwing the ball when he might make mistakes here and turn it over. So I think they're the better team. That defense is legit here. The run game really hasn't been all that great. I'm going to take Seattle. They're the better team. But do I think Sam Darnold may poop the bed? Yeah, I do. I really do. And if he does, by the way, it's over. They won't win anything either. I'll tell you another little tidbit here. It's not going to happen, but you joked about the MVP earlier. The MVP is not Drake May. It's not Matthew Stafford. It's Christian McCaffrey, boys and girls. Where is that team without McCaffrey? He's been there since day one. Hasn't missed a game. Over 400 touches this year. Yeah. He's not going to win it. He's never going to win it. It's a quarterback award, but he should be the MVP.
Well, poor Kurtz is now sticking around another segment because I would like to unpack just a little bit with him. So stay with us. IGL Game Day continues.
The champagne pops. The clock strikes 12. But New Year's isn't won at midnight. It's won on the gridiron. Every snap, every number, every edge that matters. Don't just watch the ball drop. Watch the odds drop. College football playoff coverage. Live lines. Smart analysis. All New Year's Day. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, they couldn't get the Arizona State coach to come out. They couldn't get the BYU coach to leave their job. I mean, it's just very odd, I feel, when we watch this whole thing play out and try and really understand what happened here with Michigan not being able to make some of the splashier hires that they thought they were going to be able to make.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
They have by far the highest ceiling out of any team in the league. Elite talent, NBA shot making, versatility, and the best coach in the league in John Shire. They can beat you in multiple ways. Half court, full court, run and gun, walk it up. And they out-execute you, maybe except for that game versus Texas Tech.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
I know exactly what Patriot Nation is screaming this morning. It's Drake May time. Give him the trophy. MVP. Stop it, please. Just sit down. Yes, Drake May has had a nice season. But let's be real. He has played a JV schedule of defenses. He is carving up the easiest slate of defenses in the NFL this season. Congratulations on your beatdown of the Jets.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We have George Kurtz still with us, getting to a little bit of the NFL awards market. Brady assumed that I wanted to keep George around because I was offended by the fact that he said Drake May is not the MVP. It's, in fact, Christian McCaffrey, which honestly I find less offensive than when I went on the early line yesterday and Joe Ranieri tried to make a case that it's Justin Herbert who's actually the NFL MVP this year. That did offend me, even though you could find similar odds on Herbert and McCaffrey. Look, Herbert probably has a better chance between the two, which is to say 0, simply because he's a quarterback and it's a quarterback award. What I wanted to discuss with you, George, and you as well, Brady, because someone raised this question to me and I'm curious what you think. knowing full well the odds only tell some of the story. It's humans that vote on this stuff, obviously, and they tell themselves whatever narratives, whatever stories they want to land where they land. But MVP, that's a quarterback award. It just is. Whether or not it should be, that's a whole other argument, but it's going to be May, or it's going to be Stafford, it's going to be a QB. Offensive Player of the Year, however, tends to be the next best player who is not a quarterback. In this case right now, the odds on FanDuel show the favorite as Jackson Smith and Jigba at -380, followed by Christian McCaffrey at +380. Now, to me, and I invested in CMC for this award when he was still 40-1 a few weeks ago. I think that McCaffrey is the Offensive Player of the Year. I think that recency bias can have something to do with that, meaning if Seattle loses this game to San Francisco, that could vault McCaffrey over JSN in the odds. We could see a swing there. But I also wonder this because this was a question posed to me. Would the voters vote the same guy for multiple awards? Because McCaffrey is unequivocally going to win Comeback Player of the Year. He is a landslide favorite at -2,500 right now. Would he win Comeback Player of the Year and Offensive Player of the Year, George?
My guess would be no. And by the way, I think you bring up an extremely valid point. All right, because we don't really see that. Maybe that does. I think you also bring another valid point about who wins the game here. Suppose McCaffrey, they win, I don't know, 28-21, and he has 2 touchdowns, 140 total yards. He has 6, whatever. He has a big game, and JSN goes 4 for 62, no touchdowns. That's going to play in people's heads. Well, McCaffrey came up big when they really needed it. I think this argument's to be made for both. All right, McCaffrey, like I said, Kittle's been hurt, Jennings has been hurt, the offensive line's been hurt. They have no defense. Purdy was hurt. With Seattle, you're saying, well, it's JSN or bust. There's no one else there. The running game's done nothing all year long. You got Sam Darnold, who's maybe turning into a pumpkin at midnight. So I can see the arguments for both here. I might go with this. Suppose, just for giggles here, that McCaffrey does win Offensive Player of the Year. Maybe he doesn't win comeback. Maybe that's where the difference is. Maybe it's not, we don't take away offensive MVP, which I think is a stronger award, right? So I think you may want to vote for him there. Maybe he's not comeback player. Maybe it's Dak, right? He missed half of last season with the hamstring. Maybe they'll vote for him instead, or somebody else who was out.
Trevor Lawrence.
Joe Flacco, who never should have worn the damn thing. It's the worst thing ever. What did he come back from? Being old? Just dumb. But you never know what these guys are going to vote for. And I'm the first person to tell you, let's say people are screaming. I don't know what's going on here. I don't care about these sports. I live in New York. I can't bet on
Duke. Duke has gone up 41-39 with 2:10 to go and extra point pending. So could be a 3-point lead here momentarily. Worthy of the interruption. Go ahead, though.
I live in New York. I can't bet on it. So I don't really, I don't have to worry about this. And I guess there are ways I could bet on it, sure, but I'm not going to go through the effort to do that.
Drive to New Jersey, right? I don't know I assume it's legal there.
It is. That's one thing I'm not going to. There are other ways I could figure out to do this. I'm certainly not driving 2 hours to go bet on Drake May or whoever I decide to go with there. No, I'm not quite that desperate to place a bet.
Let me ask you this, George. The last time we spoke, you told me that you had a bet on the Baltimore Ravens to win the AFC North division, and my feeling was that you should hedge your bet. You were saying no. Have you changed your mind? Have you made the hedge yet? Or are you rolling with the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday night?
Did we see the Pittsburgh Steelers against Cleveland? They have no offense. It is horrific. That being said, this has to be a big Jalen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell game. Take their props. They got to touch the ball as much as possible. Gainwell out of the backfield. They can't throw to anybody. There's no one there. DK Metcalf's not playing this week. I don't care, by the way, if it's Lamar Jackson or Huntley. Baltimore wins this game. Baltimore wins this game. And I'm not hedging here. I'm taking Baltimore to win the game as well Sunday night. Should be fun, but no, not the way Pittsburgh played. They got nobody left.
Yeah, I'm curious how DK Metcalf feels about costing his team a trip to the playoffs. Smart. George Kurtz, thank you, sir.
The
The champagne pops. The clock strikes 12. But New Year's isn't won at midnight. It's won on the gridiron. Every snap, every number, every edge that matters. Don't just watch the ball drop. Watch the odds drop. College football playoff coverage. Live lines. Smart analysis. All New Year's Day. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, they couldn't get the Arizona State coach to come out. They couldn't get the BYU coach to leave their job. I mean, it's just very odd, I feel, when we watch this whole thing play out and try and really understand what happened here with Michigan not being able to make some of the splashier hires that they thought they were going to be able to make.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
They have by far the highest ceiling out of any team in the league. Elite talent, NBA shot making, versatility, and the best coach in the league in John Shire. They can beat you in multiple ways. Half court, full court, run and gun, walk it up. And they out-execute you, maybe except for that game versus Texas Tech.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
I know exactly what Patriot Nation is screaming this morning. It's Drake May time. Give him the trophy. MVP. Stop it, please. Just sit down. Yes, Drake May has had a nice season. But let's be real. He has played a JV schedule of defenses. He is carving up the easiest slate of defenses in the NFL this season. Congratulations on your beatdown of the Jets.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
The final hour of in-game live game day here on SportsGrid. Back with Brady Kannon, Adam Kaufman. Our thanks to George Kurtz. A lot of great stuff out of him and other guests still on the way. In our hour that we've got left, we'll continue to track everything going on live, look for in-game betting opportunities. But we were talking about the NFL with George and missed some of the excitement going on in this Arizona State-Duke game. So to catch you up on what's happened in the Sun Bowl here, of course, it had been throughout much of the fourth quarter a 39-35 lead for Arizona State. Duke was driving, but a nice 3+ minute drive together, going 8 plays, 78 yards, and proceeded to turn the ball over on downs, sitting 4th and goal at the 8-yard line in an effort to obviously get in for the touchdown. Brady didn't happen. So Arizona State takes the ball, had it for all of 10 seconds, not even, fumbled the ball, Duke recovered. This happening with, again, mere minutes remaining in regulation of this game. Duke, it took 2 plays to go 22 yards, 32 seconds to score that go-ahead touchdown to go up 42-39, and Arizona State with the ball right now and working toward moving down the field. Now, ASU is at its own 39 at the moment and a timeout on the field, the 2-minute timeout. So $1:57 to go in regulation. Again, only takes a field goal to force overtime. We've already seen one out of the ASU kicker north of 50 yards in this game, so that is not out of the realm of possibility. And honestly, when games are this good, as I always like to say, they deserve more time. I'm not sure all the bettors necessarily feel that way, depending on how they invested, but just as fans who are not invested, not even emotionally, other than just from the standpoint of being entertained, I want more. I want to see how high we can go between these two.
Yeah, how many points are on the board right now? 81 points on the board in this football game. And if you had Arizona State prior to kickoff, I think you want this game to just end quietly because they were catching 3.5, and right now they are only trailing by 3. But you and I have talked about it a few different times during these last few hours, just betting both sides on the money line at plus money. And sure enough, you've had those opportunities in this game multiple times. Now you've got, I think, another situation. Arizona State, I just saw it flash, plus 176. Before that, it was plus 150. We are, again, at the 2-minute timeout. Arizona State, first and 10, or second and 10, rather, at their own 39-yard line. I don't think it's a bad bet to bet them to win this game at all. They can still tie it and, like you say, take it to overtime and possibly win there in an extra session. They could still win this in regulation. So I think there could be a lot of people out there that have both sides on plus money here and have a very good situation on their hands. Now we're hearing turnover, and that's why this has come off the board. And now Arizona State is plus 1,400 to win this ball game. That's two costly turnovers, ball game losing turnovers by the Sun Devils in the last couple minutes of this contest. One time fumbling it on their drive prior to give Duke the opportunity to go in and score, and now basically icing the game for the Blue Devils. And for those people that had Duke or had Arizona State plus 3.5, this is probably fine. You just hope now that the Blue Devils can burn out the clock and basically take the victory stance and not put any more points on the board.
Looking like it's going to be a high-scoring win there in the Sun Bowl for Duke. We'll see. Meanwhile, just because we're doing Duke for a moment, let's go back to college basketball where the Blue Devils, I mentioned this before, two things, really. Did we really believe in-game number this thing was going to get to 180 points is where it was sitting when we were, 3-4 minutes into the second half? Well, right now, also, it was, do we think that Duke is actually going to come all the way back and lay 10.5 on the live line? Well, in this moment, Georgia Tech trails by just 3 points with 2.5 to go, and it's 78-75. So, there's a chance the points get us there, certainly. Overtime could happen, or just a boatload of free throws, we'll see. But you're still well off the pace right now at 153. And again, I don't think Duke is going to suddenly get super hot and lay 11 points. So if you went with the dog and the under when we were talking about it, you might go 2-0 across these bets.
Just an incredible effort by Georgia Tech, Adam. I mean, a 27.5-point underdog prior to tip. And here they are down by 3, a chance to win the game with 1 minute and 43 seconds left. Incredible. Duke, a 4.5-point favorite in the live market. If you have Georgia Tech plus the points, obviously you don't really want overtime. I don't think Duke's going to cover 27.5. That seems close to impossible at this point. But I think personally, I would love to see Georgia Tech win this game outright. I didn't think it was possible, but boy, This is really remarkable. UConn as well. UConn taking on Xavier, and Nick Hamady was on the Huskies, laying the 11.5, and so far so good. 49-33, just underway in the second half. Over 18 minutes left in the second half. 49-33 in favor of UConn, and in the live market, they're now laying 20.5, almost double what they were over Xavier prior to tip-off.
Swinging it back to football, Brady, over in the Citrus Bowl, Michigan is now up 26-24 after a rushing touchdown, 5 yards on Underwood. And so an extra point obviously could make this a 3-point game, sitting with a lot of time left. 11 minutes, I think still to go in regulation here in this one.
And the live total is really in the balance here. We were talking about this game, and, early on it looked like, boy, this thing is going to soar over the total. And then it really slowed down in the third quarter, kind of like we had felt it would. And now it's picked back up again. But, 58.5, 57.5, that was the last time I remember looking at this one, 58, 57. That's absolutely right in play right now. I mean, and now the totals come off the board. I'm not positive what it is now. It could be 60 with so much time left. Again, 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. You have 50 points on the board currently. And I don't know if the extra point was up and good just yet, but kind of interesting where this is falling as far as the total. The pregame total has already been dusted. That was 48.5. We're already over that, Adam, with nearly a full fourth quarter to go.
Again, Utah, Nebraska, that game is 38-14. So as Brady noted, we got a lot of time left in that one. So we'll continue to keep an eye on these games. We are also about an hour and a half away from Miami and Ohio State, the continuation of the college football playoff, getting into the quarterfinal round. 3 games are on the way tomorrow, obviously, throughout your New Year's Day. We'll be back on. We'll be tracking those. We'll have plenty to talk about, especially in the wake of Ohio State and Miami. That game will be tracked very closely tonight here on Sports Grid by Scott Wetzel and Gabe Moretzi, who are going to follow us starting at 8 o'clock Eastern tonight. So make sure you're checking them out. Duke, it seems like just, I think Arizona State, if I'm not mistaken, looking like maybe it did enough to get another opportunity here, if you can believe it. Looking at 4th and 4 at the ASU 35. So wow. Duke may come away with a field goal here. We'll see. But even if they do, Arizona State will be in position to score a touchdown and maybe win this game with still right now 90 seconds to go. Obviously, if Duke goes for a field goal and misses it, all the better for ASU, because for one, you're getting great field position to start, but second to that, you've I take it back. Looks like they went for it on 4th and 4. They got it. That's gonna ice it, Brady. I did not see that.
I think that's the right call. I was actually just thinking that because, okay, you make a field goal, great, but Arizona State can still win it with a touchdown. You punt the ball, Arizona State can tie it up with a long field goal. And earlier in this same quarter, they just kicked a 54-yarder successfully. So I think the right call was to go for it. Now they win the football game. Good move by Duke.
Going to improve to 9-5, the Blue Devils, if they don't screw this up in the final 90 seconds. But assuming timeouts are gone, I'd have to pull that up to be certain. I think they're going to be mostly just kneeling this thing out, maybe set themselves up with a field goal if they want to. We'll see. So, again, stay with us. We will have much more on the way. The final 50 or so minutes, we will mix in some more NFL also.
The champagne pops. The clock strikes 12. But New Year's isn't won at midnight. It's won on the gridiron. Every snap, every number, every edge that matters. Don't just watch the ball drop. Watch the odds drop. College football playoff coverage. Live lines. Smart analysis. All New Year's Day. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, they couldn't get the Arizona State coach to come out. They couldn't get the BYU coach to leave their job. I mean, it's just very odd, I feel, when we watch this whole thing play out and try and really understand what happened here with Michigan not being able to make some of the splashier hires that they thought they were going to be able to make.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
They have by far the highest ceiling out of any team in the league. Elite talent, NBA shot making, versatility, and the best coach in the league in John Shire. They can beat you in multiple ways. Half court, full court, running gun, walk it up. And they out-execute you, maybe except for that game versus Texas Tech.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
I know exactly what Patriot Nation is screaming this morning. It's Drake May time. Give him the trophy. MVP. Stop it, please. Just sit down. Yes, Drake May has had a nice season. But let's be real. He has played a JV schedule of defenses. He is carving up the easiest slate of defenses in the NFL this season. Congratulations on your beatdown of the Jets.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Duke has won the Sun Bowl 42-39 against Arizona State. Wildly entertaining game. If Miami and Ohio State are anything, even a fraction of what that was, people are going to be wildly entertained throughout their New Year's Eve evening or late afternoons, depending obviously on where you are. Texas down 27-24 to Michigan, but with the ball in its own territory at the 26, 2nd and 9. We still have 10 minutes and change left in regulation, though. So this one is a long ways from complete. The total is 60.5 on the live line, and Texas, the dog, is also getting 2.5 points. Utah all over Nebraska. Utah with the ball, too. Start of the fourth, laying 25.5 in a 38-14 lead. 62.5, the live total there. So, Brady, that is maintained. We got one game soar over the total that's gone complete, and these two that are still in progress, still showing live lines up over 60 points.
Yeah, the Duke Blue Devils get the win. The Sun Devils get the cash, and the game flies over the total. What an entertaining Sun Bowl for sure. Kenny Dillingham's squad coming up just short, but, as we expected, they absolutely brought the effort. Undermanned. They definitely had the more opt-outs and, transfer portal, this and that and the other, but they hung right in there. And the odds makers obviously nailed this one with that number at 3.5. Duke favored by 3.5. If you took the hook with the Sun Devils, you cashed that ticket. Nice move there. This Texas-Michigan game has been great. Both the Sun Bowl and the Citrus Bowl have been back and forth. And right now, Michigan with the lead by 3 points. The dog barking in this one as well. They were 6.5 or 7-point dogs before this one kicked off. Now with a 3-point lead, under 10 minutes left to go in regulation. Texas at their own 38-yard line. Michigan still laying 2.5 points. Boy, I tell you, again, we've gone back and forth on this. Whichever team you like, laying under a field goal, I think I like that side because right now, Michigan obviously leading by a field goal. They're going to get the ball back again. We've got just under 10 minutes left in this game. So, Texas scores, they might be a 2.5-point favorite. This is pick your poison once again, where you can be playing both sides on the money line at plus money. The only one that is not offering up those opportunities is what our man Rich Sermonello was on, and that is the Utah Utes laying 14 or better against Nebraska as they start to pull away in the second half. We talked about this game staying under that in-game total and that Utah would maybe insert their dominance here in the second half, and that's really exactly what's played out. Nebraska hasn't had anything to say in this second half of football.
I want to go back to the NFL awards market conversation that we were having when George Kurtz was on with us just a little while ago, because I just think one thing, I alluded to this, the in-game swings that we're seeing based on primetime games, island games, recency bias, late game importance, to whatever the case, obviously, it's deeply impacting the odds, more so than really it feels like it should, given that awards should be defined by body of work over an entire regular season. Not the case. These odds are swinging dramatically, Brady. I don't know how closely you pay attention to it when you're just sitting around watching a game, but I've gotten in the habit lately of watching these and seeing how much they move in game, drive to drive. To give you a good example, this latest game that the Rams played in prime time, for all the people out there, and it could obviously still happen, that are just assuming that we're going to see this Matthew Stafford MVP legacy award, end of his career, all of that. And I'm not saying he's undeserving, but the numbers pale in comparison almost across the board to Drake May, whereas obviously the schedule has been tougher for Stafford. One could also say he's got more to work with. May is going to win his division. Stafford's going to finish third. There are all sorts of different things that you could argue both sides in this, what seems to be, based on the odds, a two-man race, with May on FanDuel minus 340, Stafford plus 280. But the drive-to-drive thing, watching throughout this game, May entered the contest, idle obviously, at plus 200. Stafford was the favorite. By the end of the game, May was right around minus 550. I know that's moved since, but right around minus 550 when that game closed, after Stafford nearly led a comeback, but fell down 3 touchdowns, was picked off 3 times. Anytime the Rams would do something, go on a drive, maybe they scored a touchdown, even if Stafford didn't really have to do with it. It might have been a big Kyron Williams drive, didn't matter. The odds would shift right back to, say, minus 115. I mean, you want to talk about in-game abilities to bet odds of numbers bouncing and you're getting plus money here, plus money there. Awards markets, to me, shouldn't work that way, especially considering it's humans that are pooling together to vote for these awards with their own bias and their own narratives. And yet, some of the line of questioning that I asked George, I'll ask you. Christian McCaffrey going up against JSN for Offensive Player of the Year. These are the two favorites. And they play each other with the division, the first round bye on the line in Week 18. As George outlined, if McCaffrey is a big game, JSN doesn't, San Francisco wins that game, I promise you McCaffrey's going to be the favorite. Doesn't mean he's going to win the award, but he's going to be the favorite in terms of the odds. Should it work that way? Are you surprised that it works that way?
I'm not surprised because fans are influenced by that type of thing, and the odds maker has to prepare for that, right? So if fans are watching the games, bettors are watching the games, what have you, and they see Matthew Stafford throw a couple of interceptions, they're going to run to the window and bet Drake May. And, that's why I don't necessarily like betting awards markets that frequently, because you have the human element. And you can't trust these people. Like Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh for the baseball MVP. There were some people that were absolutely dead set and didn't have an open mind. They were betting Aaron Judge no matter what. I don't like that mentality. It's almost when it's easier. It's almost easier if it's quote unquote decided on the field. When you put it in the hands of the judges, I think you get a lot of weird stuff going on. I want to ask you a question. You mentioned you have a ticket on Christian McCaffrey to win Offensive Player of the Year. I understand why the odds move, because like I say, I think it's the odds makers have to base their job on what they expect the fans to do. But I want to ask you about your Offensive Player of the Year ticket on the other side.
Absolutely. Again, 2-horse race in terms of the odds. Puka Nacua is third at 14-1. And then you really jump. John Robinson, 50-1, for example, is sitting fourth.
The champagne pops. The clock strikes 12. But New Year's isn't won at midnight. It's won on the gridiron. Every snap, every number, every edge that matters. Don't just watch the ball drop. Watch the odds drop. College football playoff coverage. Live lines. Smart analysis. All New Year's Day. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, they couldn't get the Arizona State coach to come out. They couldn't get the BYU coach to leave their job. I mean, it's just very odd, I feel, when we watch this whole thing play out and try and really understand what happened here with Michigan not being able to make some of the splashier hires that they thought they were going to be able to make.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
They have by far the highest ceiling out of any team in the league. Elite talent, NBA shot making, versatility, and the best coach in the league in John Shire. They can beat you in multiple ways. Half court, full court, running gun, walk it up. And they out-execute you, maybe except for that game versus Texas Tech.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
I know exactly what Patriot Nation is screaming this morning. It's Drake May time. Give him the trophy. MVP. Stop it, please. Just sit down. Yes, Drake May has had a nice season. But let's be real. He has played a JV schedule of defenses. He is carving up the easiest slate of defenses in the NFL this season. Congratulations on your beatdown of the Jets.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're back with you here, and Texas with a touchdown to go up 31-27, laying 3.5 now, of course, up by 4 as noted, but you're getting heavy juice on that, minus 215 where I'm seeing it on FanDuel. The total up to 64.5, that is juice to the over. About 7 minutes left in regulation in that one. Meanwhile, Utah continues to lead by 24, about 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter of that one. But we were talking about the NFL awards market, specifically Offensive Player of the Year. And I know you mentioned you have a question for me as it relates to my McCaffrey ticket. Before you ask it, though, I want to ask you the other part of the McCaffrey Offensive Player of the Year conversation that I had asked George, which is these voters will bend over backwards to do whatever it is that they believe is the right thing to do. For instance, last year, you'll remember when, was it going to be Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson? Who's the MVP going to be? And the way everyone kind of made themselves feel better about this was, one, Josh Allen was the MVP, and the other, Lamar Jackson, was first team All-Pro. You know, like they try and divvy up the cake as best they can. So as I asked George, do you think we could see CMC? Right. Like, could we see CMC win 2 awards? Because he is the runaway favorite for Comeback Player of the Year right now. And absolutely justified to win it. But does winning that actually hurt him in a different market?
Probably, just because it's voter bias. A lot of people could argue that it is, but it's the way it is. It's like Nikola Jokic and the MVP in the NBA. It's like what they used to say about LeBron or Jordan. They should win it every year. But, voter fatigue, let's give it to someone new. Christian McCaffrey, clearly Comeback Player of the Year. Is he Offensive Player of the Year? Well, maybe, but I could see them saying, well, let's give it to JSN because Christian already won this. So that's it's why I think it's a little bit risky business. Like, and I'm saying this as a guy who cashed a ticket on Travis Hunter to win the Heisman last year. I had a great number, and it happened to come through. But I think you're putting a lot of risk in your hands that you don't necessarily expect to have to deal with in just betting a football game. There's a lot of other outside influence, I think, when you have human voters, in these markets. But what I wanted to ask you was, I think a good way to hedge your McCaffrey bet is to bet the Seattle Seahawks to win the game. Bet Seattle on the money line on Saturday, because if the 49ers win, like we talked about with George, McCaffrey, is going to play a big part in that, and he'll. He obviously becomes a greater favorite or wherever he sits now. I think he's actually second to JSN currently. But if they win that game, he could become the favorite. I think betting Seattle money line is a good hedge right there for your OPOY bet.
So I would 9 times out of 10 agree with you. Here's the reason that doesn't work for me. A big little detail that I left out of the equation. I got CMC at 40-1. However, in a moment of greed, well, let me finish. In a moment of greed, I actually parlayed that ticket with Drake May to win MVP. And I took that ticket to 90-1. So,
it's a nice ticket.
I mean,
I'd still hedge it.
It's tougher to hedge now.
Well, I think the May piece looks really good right now. I think recency bias. We've mentioned that a few different times on the show. What we saw last out of Matthew Stafford was an ugly game on national TV. He could do almost anything against the Cardinals and it'll go relatively unnoticed. Same thing with May. Yeah. It kind of feels like the voting's done at this point. Unless both players lay a real egg or do something really, out of sorts on Sunday, which is probably not likely. So I think you're probably looking pretty good on that leg of the parlay. I'd probably hedge a little bit on Seattle money line, and you don't have to pay a lot of juice either.
No, minus 118. I'm looking at it right now. That might not even be the best price. What I'm looking at the moment. So there might be some minus 115s, minus 110s.
It all depends on how big this potential payout is, but I'd probably put a portion on Seattle just in case.
Yeah, payout's about $1,000. It's a nice payout.
Well, maybe let's see if I can collect $300.
The way the last couple of weeks have gone for me, I could use.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point, for sure. All right, we're going to come on back. We've got Gab Farrar on.
The champagne pops. The clock strikes 12. But New Year's isn't won at midnight. It's won on the gridiron. Every snap, every number, every edge that matters. Don't just watch the ball drop. Watch the odds drop. College football playoff coverage. Live lines. Smart analysis. All New Year's Day. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, they couldn't get the Arizona State coach to come out. They couldn't get the BYU coach to leave their job. I mean, it's just very odd, I feel, when we watch this whole thing play out and try and really understand what happened here with Michigan not being able to make some of the splashier hires that they thought they were going to be able to make.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
They have by far the highest ceiling out of any team in the league. Elite talent, NBA shot making, versatility, and the best coach in the league in John Shire. They can beat you in multiple ways. Half court, full court, running gun, walk it up. And they out-execute you, maybe except for that game versus Texas Tech.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
I know exactly what Patriot Nation is screaming this morning. It's Drake May time. Give him the trophy. MVP. Stop it, please. Just sit down. Yes, Drake May has had a nice season. But let's be real. He has played a JV schedule of defenses. He is carving up the easiest slate of defenses in the NFL this season. Congratulations on your beatdown of the Jets.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
So over in the Citrus Bowl, Texas up 31-27, about 5 minutes to go in that one against Michigan. Meanwhile, 8 minutes left in what is a rout. Utah up 30, 44-14 against Nebraska in the Las Vegas Bowl. We got a more fun game in front of us here because it is not just that it's the Cotton Bowl, it's the continuation of the college football playoff as we get into these 4 quarterfinal games, 1 today, 3 tomorrow. And to help us break all of those down, our good friend Colby Dant, Sports Gambling Podcast Network, hosts The College Experience, among other shows. I mentioned as we were going to break, Cab Farrar. He's going to join us tomorrow. We're thrilled to have Colby here with us tonight. You can get him on Twitter at @TheColbyD. How are you, sir?
I am good, with the exception of Arch Manning just having a 60-yard touchdown run because I have Michigan plus 7.5, so that's in jeopardy now. But I'm good. Other than that, man, had Iowa on the money line. And that hit had Arizona State as well. That money line should have hit. They could hold on to the football, but I'm good, man. It's a great time of year.
Yeah, that was a heck of a ball game, Arizona State and Duke. And I knew you had 3 and a hook with the Sun Devils, so good work there. I was ashamed that the money line didn't come through as well. Let's talk about the one on tap coming up about a half an hour from now down in Texas, the Cotton Bowl, Ohio State and Miami. I know you like the dog in this one, and I do too. That defense, man, they're so good. And we saw them do it against Texas A&M. And I also lean on this, Colby. We know Ohio State maybe has more talent than any other team in the country. They're really good. They're a favorite to win it all for a reason. But when they played really good defenses earlier this year against Texas, talking about Arch Manning, 14-7. Okay, yeah, we were disappointed with what the effort that Texas put forth, but still 14-7. That's a pretty good defensive effort. And then they lose recently in the Big Ten championship game to Indiana, another excellent defense, 13-10. So why will it be any different against another really good elite defense in the Miami Hurricanes?
Yeah, no, you know, the only hesitation is the Mario Cristobal angle. Because to me, like, I think Miami's got a better line of scrimmage than Ohio State, offensively and defensively. And if you look at Ohio State, they can't run the ball that well. They're 62nd in the nation rushing the football, which means they're gonna have to pass the ball. But I actually think that is a good matchup for Miami. I think Miami's can get off the ball. They rush the passer. The 7 sacks against Texas A&M, and Texas A&M is one of the best offensive lines in the country. I think a better offensive line than Ohio State. So I think that favors, you know, them. That's an advantage for them to make Julian Sayin uncomfortable. You've seen it before when you're able to do that. I thought Indiana did a great job at doing that as well. And you look at Ohio State, the top 25 defenses that they faced, or how about this, top 25 offenses that they faced. Well, there's only one, and that's Indiana, and they lost that game. So I like Miami's chances here. Just the only thing is Cristobal. Cristobal can get you in many ways. So, but I definitely think they can cover the number. So give me the Canes and the points.
You see a lot of the things on the Miami ledger there on your screen, all the different ways that this team has performed well throughout the year. 10-2, 5-0 against ranked opponents. Obviously, you know, that win against Notre Dame, winning by 3, the loss at SMU, you know, we'll forget that for today. But what's interesting, these lines have been out there, Colby, as we know, leading into this game for almost a week now. And yet the movement just in the last couple hours. I mean, at one point, not long ago, it was Miami +10, then 9.5, 8.5. Now I'm seeing +7.5. So, I mean, why do you suppose, and I know you just talked about some of it, but why do you suppose there's that much movement leading into the game here?
Well, I mean, you also get the more experienced quarterback. Another thing that I guess I should have mentioned was Corey Heatherman, the first-year defensive coordinator for Miami. He is a former Kurt Cignetti defensive coordinator at JMU. So I think, you know, I wouldn't even be surprised if they shared a phone call, but just studying the tape, I'm sure there's a lot of things that Heatherman does that Indiana did just based off the history of Cignetti and Heatherman being together. So maybe the fact that the experienced quarterback thing, and I actually think one of the other things, I think it's a problem for the sport overall, how you just take a week off in the playoffs for momentum's sake. I know Dan Lanning was talking about this. But I actually think in Miami's case, where Miami, you know, kind of sucks every year under Cristobal is week to week preparation. You get 2 weeks. I actually, even though Cristobal is not a juggernaut at X's and O's, I do think it helps because week to week, that's where Miami look at their losses in the Cristobal era. They've had some real blunders. I'd say that's one of his shortcomings. So I think that's another thing that goes in favor for the Canes.
Yeah, that is certainly interesting. You talk about Cignetti. Let's move on to that game. That'll be New Year's Day, one of the first games in 2026, Alabama and Indiana. This will be the Rose Bowl. And the weather's pretty nasty there, Colby. Raining today in Pasadena, California. We're feeling it a little bit here in Las Vegas and expected to have more rain in Southern California on Thursday. And I think that absolutely favors Indiana. They have the better rushing attack. I think that's been the knock on Alabama, not only all season, probably especially in the last month or two. We really have not seen them run the ball very well at all. We know Indiana has one of the most efficient running attacks in the country. And if it's going to be a sloppy field down there in Pasadena, you have to believe that favors the favorite.
Yeah, 100%, man. I know we were on this show, you know, when Alabama was getting blown out by Oklahoma early in the game, and I bet Oklahoma. I felt great about it. I still say that's one of the crazier comebacks. A lot of people compare it to the first Oklahoma game. I disagree because the first Oklahoma game, Oklahoma was up wire to wire almost against Alabama. I think Alabama had a lead for like a minute. That Alabama, I have a future on them back from July. I don't think they're that good of a football team, dude. They can't run the ball, right? I also think their run defense is not elite. I know right now their numbers say 28th, but Oklahoma can't run the ball on anybody. And they were in the late 50s to early 60s before the Eastern Illinois game, which was week 13, right? So like I don't think that run defense is super elite. I think the run game, I mean, they've had 28 yards in the past 2 games combined rushing the ball. That's going to catch you at some point. And they're calling for rain here in LA, but at the same time, as someone that's lived in LA for 22 years, sometimes they say that and it rains for 15 minutes, but I'll take my chances with Cignetti. I just think they're the more physical team. How about this? Indiana played Old Dominion week 1, and the Old Dominion quarterback, who's going to be at a Power 5 this next year, he's in the portal right now, Colton Joseph, had 2 80-yard touchdown runs in that game. Ever since that game, Indiana's been the best rush defense in the nation, and they haven't let many teams get much on them. So I like Indiana to shut them down and win this game. The rain only plays in Indiana's favor because Alabama's got to commit to the pass, and if you're telling me it's raining, it's just a bad setup for them.
If you did believe in Alabama, however, and you wanted to invest in the money line, ultimately what makes the most sense? The money line, or just, I don't know, maybe a smaller unit play, percentage of your unit, whatever it is, and just sprinkling that 17-1 or wherever you can get your number on Alabama to win the whole thing?
Yeah, I just play the game. I don't think you have to go back like 30 years for them to be a team this bad defensively against the run to win the national championship. So I think you're better off for the game because, they got great athletes on the outside that's always dangerous, like that you having Ryan Williams and Bernard and maybe Jam Miller can catch a screen pass and break it. So they still have athletes on the outside that can keep them a chance, but for the whole game, or for the whole season, and I have a ticket, I don't like it.
You might be looking for hedge opportunities. We got Colby Dan hanging there with us again from the College Experience Sports Gambling Podcast Network, scratching the surface here with some of these college football playoff quarterfinal games, which will get started tonight and continue on throughout the day tomorrow. Texas up 38-24. Michigan not dead yet necessarily, but only about 3.5 to go in that one.
The champagne pops. The clock strikes 12. But New Year's isn't won at midnight. It's won on the gridiron. Every snap, every number, every edge that matters. Don't just watch the ball drop. Watch the odds drop. College football playoff coverage. Live lines. Smart analysis. All New Year's Day. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, they couldn't get the Arizona State coach to come out. They couldn't get the BYU coach to leave their job. I mean, it's just very odd, I feel, when we watch this whole thing play out and try and really understand what happened here with Michigan not being able to make some of the splashier hires that they thought they were going to be able to make.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
They have by far the highest ceiling out of any team in the league. Elite talent, NBA shot making, versatility, and the best coach in the league in John Shire. They can beat you in multiple ways. Half court, full court, run and gun, walk it up. And they out-execute you, maybe except for that game versus Texas Tech.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
I know exactly what Patriot Nation is screaming this morning. It's Drake May time. Give him the trophy. MVP. Stop it, please. Just sit down. Yes, Drake May has had a nice season. But let's be real. He has played a JV schedule of defenses. He is carving up the easiest slate of defenses in the NFL this season. Congratulations on your beatdown of the Jets.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We have Colby Dan hanging out here with us again from the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. So Texas has continued to put up points. 41-27 against Michigan now with 3:36 to go in regulation in that one. Nebraska scored a touchdown, extra point pending, but it will be 44-21, I would assume, here in a matter of moments. Problem is there's about 2 minutes left in that game, so doesn't really matter. Of course, we were talking a little bit about Miami and Ohio State, that quarterfinal game in the college football playoff that will start in less than an hour at this point. But as we continue to look at tomorrow, Colby, what's, whether it's obviously a game that we've already asked you about or one of the ones we haven't discussed yet, do you have a favorite play on the board?
It's Georgia against Ole Miss. I mean, Pete Golding. Okay, Tulane was one thing. All right, impressive performance, great win. You got a hot potato the coaching position, but you gave Kirby Smart 28 days or something, 25 days to prep. And they've already played them once. So all your best stuff was thrown then because you didn't know you're going to be playing them. I just can't get on board with Ole Miss there. I think you got to lay the number. I'm surprised. If anything though, I am surprised the number hasn't moved that much. But I just think Georgia's a smash play. I think Georgia's been playing great ever since that fourth quarter against Ole Miss. That's kind of when their team kicked it into another gear. So yeah, I'm all over the dogs in New Orleans there.
Yeah, Colby, you talked about it. Adam and I, we were talking about this earlier in the show. The first part of the season, we were like, where's that Georgia defense that we're used to? And then, like you say, last 4 or 5 games, the last 4 games, they've held their opponents to 10 points or fewer. So it's starting to look like that old Georgia that we've been used to the last few years, winning national championships here. And they're great in the red zone. I think they've got enough offense to match wits with Ole Miss's offense as well. I'm with you on that one. But you talked about the line movement. The only real movement we've seen is from 7 to 6.5. Do you think it's going to go back the other way? Where do you think this closes?
Yeah, I'm already confused by that. I thought it would be, honestly, I would lay like up to 10. I would lay up to 10. I just think, you give Kirby Smart in general, it doesn't matter who you're facing, you give that much time to prep. I like my chances. I know they lost in the playoffs last year when the quarterback got injured, but I think it's a different year this year. Their team was very young in the beginning of the season too. A lot of underclassmen. So they grew up as the season went along. This is actually his best rushing team in a while. They're like a top 35 rush team. You go back to like the Stetson Bennett teams. They actually they were solid on the ground, but they weren't this good. So I think you mix that with the defense that's getting better each and every day. I know that it's in New Orleans, so you might get more Ole Miss fans than traditional, but the Dogs fans travel well too. So I don't worry about that being an all the way Ole Miss crowd. I just think it's a tall order with all that stuff, all that changing. And then Lane Kiffin's they're talking about him and the governor going to be at the game. I think it's a distraction to Ole Miss. So yeah, give me the Dogs all day.
What about just in terms of national championship investments? If somebody wanted to get involved now, and I'm sure you have maybe multiple tickets in pocket, and a lot of people pre-tournament probably got something also, but if you're a little late to the party, maybe you got a boost available, whatever it is, if you want to jump in now and see a fair amount of value across the board after you get beyond Ohio State, Indiana, maybe even to a degree Georgia at 5-1, where would you go?
I think, I know this could sound crazy because they're dogs tomorrow, but I think Texas Tech is the team that is a little undervalued right now. They're plus 110. The only thing that would concern me is Baron Morton's injury history, because their backup, who played so well in a couple games, is already out for the season. So if Morton was to go down, and trust me, he is like Mr. Glass, because he's gone down like 50 times in his career. The wind blows, this guy might be out for the year. But I think Texas Tech on the line of scrimmage has been, I think people just think, oh, they're just a Big 12 team. They are elite on the line of scrimmage. I think you can actually make a case that they're the best on the line of scrimmage to me in all of college football. So I think Texas Tech, and I think they're like plus 115 or something to win the Natty. I think it's actually better. To make the championship, I think it was something to win the Natty. I think they're plus like 8 something.
I'm looking at plus 950.
Yeah. That's what I haven't checked today, but that is one to me that.
Did we lose
I think
Colby?
we may have lost our pal Colby. Yeah, it seems so. Hopefully he had that computer plugged in. The thing didn't run out of battery or something like that.
He's
I
back.
think we've
He might be back.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I apologize, but no. So I think on the line of scrimmage, you can make a case that they're the best in all of college football. The quarterback is a little scary for me, but I think Texas Tech has extreme value, and I think people are underrating them just because they're in the Big 12.
Yeah, 8-0 against the spread against Power 4 teams with Morton under center. So he's been good in that regard. I'm with you. I think this team's a little bit under the radar as well. You talked about Dan Lanning and him not kind of liking the setup here with the time off. I wonder if that's bad. I have to imagine you can't be impressed with what they did against the run against JMU. I mean, that team really ran all over this Oregon defense, and that's certainly a strong. I think Indiana and Texas Tech are both very well-rounded teams. And you talk about the line of scrimmage. I'd say probably the best defensive line in all of college football. I imagine you bet them on the money line. Here's another game where the line movement went the other way. Do you know why? Do you expect it to come back down?
No, because I think people think that Texas Tech is just like the air raid, Cliff Kingsbury, Mike Leach, and this is like and I get it, the stigma against them, but this is just a different team to me. I like them. Look, Oregon has struggled when they've played the good teams, even Iowa, even Indiana. Their offense has struggled. So I think their offense might struggle. I like Texas Tech to win that game outright.
Again, Colby Dant, Sports Gambling Podcast Network, a good friend of the program. We always enjoy when you hop on and enjoy the rest of, obviously, tonight's big game, tomorrow's games, New Year's Eve. You want to, I don't know, open a bottle of champagne while celebrating a winning bet, whatever it is to usher in 2026. We look forward to chatting again.
The champagne pops. The clock strikes 12. But New Year's isn't won at midnight. It's won on the gridiron. Every snap, every number, every edge that matters. Don't just watch the ball drop. Watch the odds drop. College football playoff coverage. Live lines. Smart analysis. All New Year's Day. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, they couldn't get the Arizona State coach to come out. They couldn't get the BYU coach to leave their job. I mean, it's just very odd, I feel, when we watch this whole thing play out and try and really understand what happened here with Michigan not being able to make some of the splashier hires that they thought they were going to be able to make.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
They have by far the highest ceiling out of any team in the league. Elite talent, NBA shot making, versatility, and the best coach in the league in John Shire. They can beat you in multiple ways. Half court, full court, running gun, walk it up. And they out-execute you, maybe except for that game versus Texas Tech.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
I know exactly what Patriot Nation is screaming this morning. It's Drake May time. Give him the trophy. MVP. Stop it, please. Just sit down. Yes, Drake May has had a nice season. But let's be real. He has played a JV schedule of defenses. He is carving up the easiest slate of defenses in the NFL this season. Congratulations on your beatdown of the Jets.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Great stuff from all of our guests today. Obviously, Nick and George, and most recently, Colby, breaking down basically every sport under the sun that is in progress right now. To peek in one last time on college football at the moment, 41-27, Texas is leading Michigan. This game all but over, down to the final minute of this game. Utah has doubled up Nebraska, 44-22 to win the Las Vegas Bowl. Brady, about 40 or so minutes away, Miami and Ohio State. So last thoughts on how you intend to bet this one.
Well, I have already bet it, and I just did a pizza money bet here. Certainly not the smartest bet in the world, but I did, just to have some fun, I did a teaser with all 4 playoff games, all 4 quarterfinal games. And I took Miami. I took 2 dogs and 2 favorites. Teased Miami up, teased Texas Tech up, and then I teased Indiana down and Georgia down. And those are the sides I like. I would bet them, just regularly as well. But just to have a little skin in the game and have some fun, I put them all together and, see if I can make a little money that way. But those are certainly the sides I like. Not great feelings on the total, and I'm given even more lack of confidence on the totals after what we saw today. All these games soaring over the total. It for a minute, it looked like that Utah-Nebraska game was going to play out exactly like we thought it would with some of our in-game thoughts, and it ends up, 66 points or whatever they amounted for as well. So, I'm a little gun shy on playing some of these totals, but 2 dogs and 2 favorites, Texas Tech and Miami, Georgia and Indiana.
College hoops, Virginia Tech upset Virginia in 3 overtimes. As we talked about earlier, Duke did skate by against Georgia Tech, winning by 6, 85-79. UConn in the final minute all over Xavier, 88-66 in that game. In game right now, there's only one NHL contest with the Red Wings up 1-0 at home against the Jets halfway through the first. NBA, we wait. Everything from earlier in the day has gone final. There are another handful or so games that are still to tip off, with some of those coming up in the next few minutes. But what do we think,
Adam,
man?
one more college basketball game in the Big East. DePaul and Villanova. Villanova looking to avoid having their winning streak snapped. DePaul trying to get their first win in conference of the season, up by 4 at the half, 32-28 at halftime.
How you going to ring in the new year tonight?
Going to bed, because I've got another show with you tomorrow.
Yeah, but that's not for at this point. That's like 25 hours away. You got plenty of. We're not doing the early line.
Maybe a glass of wine. Certainly a little football research. Maybe a couple more bets to make. And then just kind of ease off into the evening without much pomp and circumstance, that's for sure. Back in my youth, I used to go down to the Las Vegas Strip on occasion, but no more of that for me. It's cold out here tonight too, so I'll be staying inside. Maybe start a fire out by the pool or something like that, an outdoor fire pit type situation. Maybe we'll do that.
You're not a New Year's Rockin' Eve guy? You're not watching the ball drop and all the concerts, all of that?
It's kind of funny, Adam. I love New Year's Day. I love lounging around and watching college football all day long. But New Year's Eve it's probably my least favorite holiday of all. New Year's Eve, who cares? I'm not really love New Year's Day, not excited about New Year's Eve.
You know what it is? I think it's because people, not you specifically, obviously, but I think some people put a lot of pressure on New Year's Eve. They put a pressure on the day, and that's why it fails to live up to the hype for a lot of people. I'm too old also to go and pay a cover charge to get in somewhere. Just to be in the bar, I got to pay to get in the door. It's like that was a younger version of me.
What are we celebrating? I mean, maybe if you had a great year, maybe there's reason to celebrate. I have a lot of great years. It's Thursday, Wednesday, whatever. It's not Christmas. It's not Hanukkah. It's not Thanksgiving. It's just, it's a new year. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, you just got to get used to writing down 26 instead of 25 when you're ending the year.
Glad about that. Don't have to switch to 2025 and 2026 and all that on the computer. I can finally just, It's January. It's 26. We're there.
There you go. Well, thanks again to all of our guests. Thanks most importantly to all of you, the listeners, the viewers who, it's not a farewell. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, and we hope you're here with us again 25 hours from now. Our thanks to Steven, to Pat, to AJ, everybody behind the scenes. Much more college football and NFL talk among other things coming up when we have you at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific tomorrow night. Good night. Happy New Year.